What's up, True Heel Heat? True Heel Heat.
What's up? True Heel Heat.
Hello. It is me, your True Hill Phenom, SP3. We are live on the True Hill Heat YouTube and Twitter for AEWramble episode 65. With all due respect, reviewing the October 26, 2022 edition of AEW Dynamite from Norfolk, Virginia. I am here with the man of 46,000 subscribers, the man you go to your TV and movie reviews, as well as your honest criticisms of Tony Khan. He is Jimmy Macram.
Very honest and almost your only, quite frankly. You've seen Twitter, it's a sewage pool of adults and slurpers of this bomb. It's gotten better. I must say it's gotten better over recent years. Most of them still stink.
Everybody's listening to your influence. People really enjoy your honest criticisms of Tony Khan.
It's like when you go to I'll be nice. I'll keep it clean for the first couple minutes.
Yeah. Try your best. You've done well the last couple of weeks. I mean, last week you just went on a tear at the end. At the very end of the show, you just started just going off. You was like, all right, it's an hour in.
It was past my bedtime.
It's like, take off the Band-Aid. But yes, we got a lot to discuss, not just the episode. There was some big breaking news, 2 parts of big breaking news from last night's Dynamite. So we're going to get into it. But if it's your first time watching AEWramble, welcome to the party. Welcome to the show. Every Thursday, 1:05 p.m. Eastern Time, reviewing AEW Dynamite from Wednesday night. Myself and Jimmy back on Thursday. After last week, we had a special Wednesday episode. We appreciate you joining us here live. Show your appreciation back by dropping the thumbs up on this video. Share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you are new to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. We are creeping our way about less than 60 subscribers away from 3,000. So trying to hit that before the end of the year. So help us out with that journey. And of course, if you're watching us on Twitter, retweet it for your friends and sound off in the live chat. We love to hear from all of you guys, hear your thoughts on last night's Dynamite and breaking news from AEW in the live chat. But the best way to have your comment highlighted on screen, we'll try to highlight as many as possible, but the best way is with a super chat donation. It helps the channel grow. It helps us to provide more content like this. So show your appreciation to what we do here on True Hill Heat with a super chat donation. We got G Loke in the live chat saying what it do. We got Hassan here saying hi there. Safet is here with us saying sup. We got Roxy, who always joins us every Thursday. Thank you for joining us as per usual. Good morning, everyone. We got Ace here saying what's up, SP3 and Jimmy.
All right.
ALW saying yo, SP3 and Big Jim. Hope all is good. A good fine, sirs. Happy Thursday. Let's fucking go. So he's ready to go. He's ready to go. I'm ready to go. Jimmy's ready to go. Bone Daddy with a great nickname for you. What's up, SP3 chat and the prevailing Jimmy Macram, king of the disclaimers.
It's very Game of Thronesy, and I appreciate it. Yes.
There you go. House of Macram. There you go. But Jimmy, like per usual, it seems like a weekly thing since the whole all-out brawl out situation that went down in September. We have another update on what's going on between the participants in the infamous brawl out. First, a bit of good news from the Fightful Select before AEW Dynamite went live. It said Fightful Select reported major development on the Elite, reporting that there is talk backstage of Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks coming back to work, at the very least in a backstage capacity. One source said they heard it could happen imminently, but nobody we heard from could definitively tell us when it's expected. Fightful Select has learned that over the last couple of weeks, the most movement out of the situation has happened since the incident took place, and they were told that a meeting was scheduled for last week, but they were in the dark on the contents of those. And then a further report came out from PW Insider saying that, in fact, first they said Don Callis was backstage at AEW Dynamite, and then they later confirmed that the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega were also backstage at last night's AEW Dynamite. Of course, we did see on the show itself, we'll get into it, a tease of their return, confirming this news as well. But Jimmy, you're rolling your eyes at that part of the story. This is the part of the story you want to hear about. CM Punk has sent out a word from his side of the story, from the all-out fallout. He actually contacted Wrestling Inc.'s Nick Hausman, Jimmy. Why is that significant? Because Nick Hausman was the very first person he went off on during the media scrum. Apparently, between the time of the media scrum and now, Punk reached out to Nick Hausman and apologized because he thought he was friends with Colt Cabana, but he was obviously wrong about that. And then he contacted him yesterday when the news of the investigation, Dave Meltzer, Wrestling Observer. See, lost Jimmy. Jimmy laughed so hard, we lost him. But to give y'all the synopsis here, Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer confirmed this news of the whole relationship between Nick Hausman and CM Punk. And he also confirmed that the investigation is over into the brawl out situation. So what Wrestling Inc. was told from CM Punk's camp, I had to wait for Jimmy to return to tell
I had to leave. That show was too funny.
So Wrestling Inc. has been told that AEW has not reached out to CM Punk since the incident following the all-out media scrum, in which Punk and his friend trainer Ace Steel reportedly got into a backstage brawl with the AEW EVPs Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. Sources indicate that after the brawl, Punk was asked to stay quiet and agreed to do so. From the perspective of Punk's camp, the scrum itself, which became the talk of the wrestling world due to Punk's comments on Colt Cabana, Hangman Adam Page, and the Elite, didn't seem like a big deal to me. Only escalated once Punk's locker room door was kicked in and accidentally hit Punk's dog Larry in the face. At a pre-scheduled veterinarian appointment a few days later, Punk was informed that 2 of Larry's teeth had been knocked loose and had to be removed. Wrestling Inc. has been told that Punk felt threatened and reacted in a legal matter under Illinois' Castle Doctrine laws, which allow for the use of force in defense of a person in their dwelling. At this time, there is no litigation against Punk on behalf of anyone involved. It was also relayed to Wrestling Inc. that Steele's wife, Lucy, was in the room during the incident, but she has not been interviewed as part of the internal investigation. Finally, Wrestling Inc. were informed that following Hangman Adam Page's comments on a May episode of AEW Dynamite alluding to backstage concerns about Punk, there was distrust on Punk's end going into the AEW World Championship match with Page at Double or Nothing 2022, with Punk being concerned that the predetermined match would break down into a physical fight. Yes, former UFC fighter CM Punk,
well, to be fair,
was concerned about it breaking down into a fight. I mean, the big note from this whole story from the Punk side is that Larry, if Larry was injured, that's horrible. I can understand why Punk reacted in the manner, because that's like someone hitting your kid, especially with the way Punk feels about his dog. However, the timing of all of this, when we have heard various versions of this story from Punk's camp, and now this is the third time the story has changed, it is suspicious. What do you think, Jimmy?
All right, there's a lot to unpack there. And if this was anybody else, I gotta admit, I think I'd be calling him all kinds of a liar. I just would. But for all of his faults, and the good Lord, there was one in particular, what you mentioned at the end. He said, after Hangman's promo, there was distrust. It should have read, after CM Punk came into the company, there was distrust. Because CM Punk has trust issues with everything and everybody. That's just who he is. After he was born, there was trust issues. I love Punk. I'm just saying that seems to be the case. But for all his faults, I don't think anybody ever has ever called him a liar. He's frequently overreacts, clearly. But he's never called a liar. So I am forced to believe all this. Though I will admit, the dog part sounds odd to me. That's the first time I'm hearing it. AEW not contacting him sounds odd to me, unless he's considering the investigation separate from AEW, which I guess would be fair.
And this comes off the heels of Wrestling Observer newsletter over the weekend reporting that Punk and AEW were in talks for a contract buyout.
Yeah. So maybe that's what he means. Like, no, I haven't been contacted about buyout.
No. I think he's saying I haven't been contacted about the investigation. They contacted me about the buyout, but not the investigation. Regardless of how this, I think that the attempt by Punk's camp, because we can't say it's for sure directly from CM Punk, but I think the idea of Punk's camp was to not get ahead of the story, because the story was already out, but to get their side of the story out there. But it contradicted a lot of the things they originally said, and it doesn't paint Punk in the best picture at all.
How not?
Well, one, the story getting switched up so many times, that's one. Two, the distrust thing, you said your point of it, but my dude, all the anger and stuff is coming from you. He said what he had to say, like you said with the media scrum. That's a bigger thing. The media scrum wasn't that big of a deal. That's what I wrote down after that part. I went, this is a lot of lawyer talk. This is very much, Hogan actually sued Vince Russo after that whole Bash at the Beach thing. And it was denied because Vince Russo never used like Terry Bollea as a name. He always called him Hulk Hogan. Therefore, it's all part of wrestling. Judge was like, get the fuck out of here. That's what this felt like Punk was going for. Like, well, I'm just talking. I'm talking about other wrestlers and media scrum. Like, that's what we do here. What did I do? And Brian Alvarez of Wrestling Observer kind of made the argument for Punk, kind of like, if you watch the whole scrum, at the end of the scrum, he said all these things like, I'm tired, I'm mad, all this other stuff. But at the end of the scrum, he finished his Mindy's cupcake. He got everything off his chest, and he seemed like he was fine. So I could understand if in CM Punk's mind,
yes,
he's like, it's not that big of a deal. I got it off my chest. It's out the way. Good.
Now we can move on.
But that also contradicts, though, the whole defense from the CM Punk fans who said, "Oh, the Young Bucks should have never went to that door because he was all angry." But if he didn't think it was a big deal, he just got it off his chest. He was perfectly fine. Then them coming to his door after he said, "Come to my door," shouldn't be that big of an issue.
No, if I get everything off my chest and then you niggas show up after I did nothing wrong, I'm like, what the fuck is the beef? First of all, it's Nick Jackson I'm talking to, because if I talk to Matt, somebody's getting punched in the fucking mouth. But what is the beef here? We're wrestlers that did something wrestly. What is the issue? Not in my opinion. In Punk's opinion, what is the issue? I don't understand. And then you bust my door open and hit my dog. I'm not sure.
He kicked the door down. I meant
I still don't see this.
In a figurative state. And then it became he kicked the door in my dog's face. That's the 3 different stories we've heard so far from Punk's side.
How about this? But here's what they did some comic book like rewriting. Here's what I'm saying. He said it wasn't aware that the dog's teeth were broken until there was a vet visit, like, and then maybe that's what happened. Is that possible? I don't know.
But I'm just saying if the dog getting hit with the door, is a big point of contention, and that's the big thing that comes from Punk's side of the story. That's a legitimate reason for Punk to be angry. So if he didn't know the dog really got in or got hit that bad, it's like there's a lot of holes in the logic if you understand and remember everything that's come out from the side.
I don't think he needs a dog to get hurt to hurt somebody. I mean, Matt Jackson's face is reason enough to me. I swear, I'm not joking. Why does nobody else acknowledge this? That he feels very cunty. All right, whatever. By the way, I don't know who I'm giving props to or I'm shitting on as far as writers and reporters go. But how come every time, the last like 4 or 5 months, every time they have something might be happening, it happens the next day?
It happens the day of, like with this
Bray Wyatt might be coming back. He's back 12 seconds later.
With all these returns from WWE and then the stuff with like AEW either signing someone or someone coming back, it literally happens like the next day or the day of.
It's
when they report it.
If Punk wasn't gonna sue, I don't see. That's what I'm saying. I felt like once they fired Steele for biting somebody, which. Let's try to keep that guy around. I felt like it had all been wrapped up. Like the Elite's on the way back. Punk settled or whatever the fuck the issue was. I don't know. Maybe it's sir. He's hateable. He's very hateable. I swear I've never seen a wrestler I hate that much that fast. Just shocking. I remember I hated them both, but once Nick turned heel and Matt turned heel, I was like, Nick is hilarious. He's fantastic, and Matt is still awful. How's that possible?
You're a hate boner. Yes, that's a great term. CM says weird the whole door being kicked open after they said it didn't happen. Plus, how did Kenny get to the dog and bitten by Ace Steel if the dog was at the door and Ace Steel was across the room?
Well, they didn't knock the dog out. They opened the door. The dog was again. That's not. I'm not sure that comes from Punk. About Kenny grabbing the dog. These are 2 different stories. And Punk seems like listen, I love CM Punk. I'm on the top 15.
The CM Punk side have confirmed that Kenny had the dog when he was bitten by Ace Steel.
Which would explain why he picked it up. So what are we talking about? Oh shit. You guys just hit this fucking dog.
Yeah, I feel like Kenny is like the innocent bystander in a lot of this. Just because he came in late. He didn't come in with the Bucks into the room. He came in late, so he comes in the room, he's seeing all this chaos, and he's like, let me get the dog.
This dog slumped in the corner. Grab the fucking dog.
Yeah, I feel so bad.
That's so fucking sad. I really hope, I know it's almost next to impossible. I hope we can get Punk Omega. If that's the case, I can imagine Punk might hate his guts right now.
And that's
forgive him faster.
And that's the thing that I think that a lot of people are missing on because a lot of the talk, because the whole hold up with the contract buyout is a non-compete clause if WWE wanted to grab up CM Punk or if he wanted to come back. And we've heard also from WrestleVotes through Give Me Sports, Louis Dangor, that Triple H's stance has lessened as far as like in July, he said he wouldn't be open to it. And now he's more open to CM Punk coming in.
He said he wouldn't be open to it.
Huh?
When he said he wouldn't be open to it?
They said when he first got into power in July.
That's terrible shit. That's shitty reporting. Don't believe anything. Fucking stop it. You say that when the guy's not there. Of course you do. That's what you do when fucking you holler at a girl on the street. She turns you down. I didn't want you anyway, bitch. That's that. Knock it off. Knock it off. I know who Triple H is. I gotta be honest. I think I'm pretty sure Triple H would take him back, but I know Vince would have. And he wouldn't even.
But that's my whole thing with the whole situation where I don't think it's likely he does go to WWE is because if there's one person in this industry that you can probably say has a worse relationship with Triple H than he does Vince McMahon, it's probably CM Punk. CM Punk, a lot of the bad things that he said about WWE, it was directed at Triple H. Even as recently as just a few months ago, when he was injured, he said he didn't think much would change in WWE now that Triple H is in charge.
And he's been proven wrong, has he not?
Yes, he has
we
been.
Know CM Punk is very big on accepting that he was wrong. So I'm sure he will.
But CM Punk is very big on spite and pettiness. And I'm sorry, I don't think he's I know the whole point of people is two things with him going to WWE. They would make a lot of money, he would make a lot of money. And two, it would be petty and be a bunch of spite towards AEW. And that's all fine and dandy, but I think a lot of people are ignoring the human factor of CM Punk might be the most spiteful person and pettiest person with the longest memory in wrestling history. And he remembers everything he dealt with Triple H. He remembers that Triple H was part of the management team that sent him his walk-in papers on his wedding day. So I think that CM Punk, if he gets buyed out and he gets paid all the money for not wrestling the last 2 years on his contract, I think he might just say, good, peace, deuces. I don't want to be the martyr anymore. I was the good guy when I left WWE. Now I'm the bad guy leaving AEW. I'm over this shit. I'm done.
Yeah, that's the same shit you said last time, and this is significantly less money. He'll be back. I don't forget that Moxley line where he said you came back because you need the money, which I assume he heard somewhere, because that seems a wild thing to say on TV and kind of out of place. So Punk was murdering him on the mic, so that's fair. Lindsay. Yeah, I mean, we have this. His money isn't infinite. He has WWE money. He finessed Dana White out of a whole lot of money, and then he had to come back to AEW. Come to AEW. So once his buyout money's over, let's give it. How many years he had left? 2
years. Let's
give it a year and a half. He'll be back. Either AEW or WWE. He'll be back.
Hey, if he wants, you talk about big money. I don't think there's a more big money matchup in the industry than Punk versus Omega right now. After this, like the fact that this CM Punk and Brawl Out situation is a contender against Vince McMahon's scandal and being basically resigned from WWE. That's telling you something. That's crazy. I didn't think in a year that Vince would step down as CEO of the company that there would be another story that has huge ramifications and consequences the way this does.
Shocking, but I'm here for it.
Me too. Same. Roxy says people who don't like each other backstage should just solve their issues in the ring. Simple solution. Sounds simple.
Not in the main event.
Not in the
also, he's 50. I'm not fighting Hangman. Get the fuck out of here. He got me by 30 pounds and I'm 50. I'm going to pass.
CM says, now, if you're a dog lover and your dog got hit with the door, why not take the dog to the vet earlier? Damn,
she is just attempting to tear his fucking story. This is outrageous. You're my lawyer, not fucking cons. It's fucking outrageous.
Bone Daddy says dog did a good job on that flopping. Bone Daddy also said he knew NBA was coming soon.
Absolutely.
ALW said Larry sold the door spot.
Come on, man.
Oh my God, you guys are awful. And Nick Jackson says that's true. Punk hates Hunter. So
it's the same. Let's not forget, it's the same guy. I was going to call him something else. The same guy who for 7 years said he was done with wrestling, and he's over it. It's dumb and blah blah blah. I'm gonna do this, do that. He is what he is.
This is true. But if this is the end of CM Punk in AEW, something that you refuse to say was possible when this first happened, what should be the legacy or the memory of CM Punk in AEW?
What should it be?
Yeah.
It will be Brawl Out, but it should be.
I know that's the crazy part. With both of his departure from WWE, people remember the departure more than all the great years or great months in AEW's case that he gave us.
I'm with you, Ace. That's why you don't bring your dog to work. That's the only part that bothers me. Like, you here to work, sir. You get it. You're a big star. Your dog. Like, enough. Ugh. Shit's not cute. And doesn't he have a fucking tour bus or whatever the fuck he had in WWE? But he had to sell that for money? Whatever. I mean, you probably sell it because you don't need it anymore. You're not traveling around.
That's how Punk knew. I mean, how Moxley knew. He was like, "You don't got no money. You don't got that bus anymore. You got no money."
It should be that he has the best feud in AEW history with relative ease, and the two What do you think is the best feud?
Not relative ease. That's the part I'm thumbing now.
I'm curious now.
It's the Hangman and Kenny. Hangman and Kenny. It's right up there.
Yeah.
I say one A, 1B.
I don't.
I know that's not you. That's what I'm thumbing down.
Just off doing
relative
things,
ease.
doing to the side and then coming back, then doing other things and coming back. It's not
You're
a feud.
bugging. No, it wasn't that. It was not that. Stop it.
And it's not even a Hangman Omega feud. It's a Hangman versus the Elite feud, which also disqualifies it. This is
that's awesome.
Enough of this overrated fucking soap opera nonsense that makes no sense. Hangman doesn't want to be in the group, but then Matt Jackson kicks him out of the group after he cost him the belt, by the way. And then Hangman's sad about getting kicked out of the group he didn't want to be in. I don't forget. That's the only thing about that fucking thing I remember is that segment being the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Hangman costs him the belt, and then he stares up into space all sad. Oh, this stinks. Whoa. What are we talking about?
You don't care about human emotion.
I care about it. I mean, a soap opera. You're not fucking cute. You're not clever. You can't write. Enough.
No, you're ridiculous.
But yeah, Punk, that fucking MJF feud was great. The Wardlow feud part of it was great. All of it was great.
Kingston.
And then it wasn't great. It was these random Rampage matches against fucking Matt Sydal and fucking.
I got reminded of that when I watched the video of like his first few months up until the end, because I tend to like gloss over a lot of stuff that he did before he started interacting with Kingston. Once he started interacting with Kingston, it was full speed ahead.
Right?
It was great.
That feud should have lasted longer. It's my biggest regret.
It should have. I mean, if it would have stayed, we would have got heel Punk versus Kingston, which would have been even better.
I told you. What did I tell you about this guy?
I wanted that promo so bad. It's so bad of Eddie Kingston being, I told you so. Oh, man, that's great. All right, so let's get into this actual show now. After unwrapping all that, if you want to hear us talk about that more, check out True Hill Heat 199 this coming Saturday, 11:05 a.m. Eastern Time. Myself, Romeo, and special guest Sat E. Nyangi will discuss everything concerning the Elite, concerning CM Punk, AEW, WWE, everything in depth. So check that out on Saturday. But let's get into AEW Dynamite from October 26, 2022. Jimmy, from Norfolk, Virginia. What did you think about the crowd last night on Dynamite?
Good. Mostly. I go good.
Go good? Okay, that's fair. Well, we kicked off things with some tag team action as it was the Jericho Appreciation Society's ROH World Champion Chris Jericho and ROH Pure Champion Daniel Garcia versus the Blackpool Combat Club's Claudio Castagnoli versus Wheeler Yuta. I did like the fact that this was the champions versus the former champions, the guys that they actually beat for the titles. And what we got was basically like, it was kind of like a house show main event where the babyfaces just ran wild and got some revenge finally on this heel group that has been dominating them over the last couple of weeks. We got early on, Claudio and Wheeler Yuta running wild. It started off with Claudio and Jericho. Then we got some Yuta and Garcia in the middle portion. We got the elbows, the stereo hammer and anvil elbows from the Blackpool Combat Club. After a distraction from Hager, Jericho gets control with a drop kick to Claudio Castagnoli. Back from break, Claudio's fighting out of a chin lock, but Jericho knocks Yuta off the apron. Castagnoli knocks Jericho away and brings in Yuta. He has a nice little hot tag here, and everything breaks down. Jericho catches Castagnoli coming off the ropes with the springboard with the code breaker, but Yuta breaks up the 2 count. He then has a flip dive to the outside on the Jericho Appreciation Society. Back in the ring, this is when shit goes. It's Claudio time. We get Jericho with the referee distracted. He tries to use Floyd the Bat, but Claudio reverses. He gets him down for the swing. Garcia tries to break it up, so he gets an airplane spin. We get an airplane spin and swing, which is probably my favorite spot that Claudio does now. It was like, how can you do the swing differently? He does it different by adding a person to his back. This man's amazing. Then you get 2 minutes of just all Claudio. He goes to the outside, wipes out the Jericho Appreciation Society. He gets back into the ring. Jericho tries to reverse an uppercut, but then he gets caught with the neutralizer for the win. Claudio Castagnoli pinning the ROH World Champion. I thought this was a very fun opener. Everyone looked good, but this was probably Claudio's biggest win since coming to on AEW proper, this is his biggest win.
Easily. I thought it was his best performance, and I thought it was probably the best booking of the BCC since Yuta's big spot where he did the blood on his chest.
I mean, I would say the last 2 weeks they've been trying to work on getting it back on track as far as the Blackpool Combat Club story.
How old's your daughter?
2.
Hand her a knife and have her try to cut a steak. It'd be good effort. I appreciate it. Don't want you to hurt yourself. It's Tony Khan. I don't want you thinking too hard. You'll hurt yourself. But this was fine. This was fine, and I enjoyed it. This was good. Here we go. That's how you book Claudio. That was great. You'd have got over, could have got over. We're not doing the 50-50 nonsense, which we seem to do with Chris Jericho all the time. I don't understand. And this is great. And now we look forward, some of you, to a rematch with Claudio and Jericho at some point.
Probably final battle. I can see that. I think they probably at Full Gear they do probably like a multi-man with BCC and JAS.
Jesus Christ. Every time I think they've learned their lesson about Chris Jericho feuds, and every time they do it again.
They do it again. They literally, this is now 2 years in a row where Blood and Guts basically started the feud, not ended it. We got some more BCC talking about them getting this whole story back on track immediately at the Mongo position to the late production staffer for AEW, Brian Mustard. It's named after him. He's calling it the Mongo position, where Renee interviewed Bryan Danielson, and he talks about being frustrated by everything that has been going on. Daniel Garcia screwing him over, losing the ROH World Title match, and Wheeler Yuta talking back to him last week. Yuta and Castagnoli come in after their win, with the former saying that it's about time that Danielson got fired up. Yuta isn't Danielson's kid and doesn't like being talked down to, earning himself a shove from Danielson until Claudio Castagnoli and William Regal come in to break things up. Claudio says that they have to talk it out like men, and we'll do that later tonight after Brian's matchup, and said that it's a great night. He just beat the ROH World Champion. Him and Yuta picked up a huge win, and it's Yuta's birthday. And Bryan Daniels says, yeah, we'll talk about it. Happy birthday, Yuta.
This was actually great. I thought everybody was great. Dragon in particular, where he's like, what do you say? I don't dislike Sammy Guevara outside of his stupid vlog and just like that's perfect.
Outside of everything that I hate about him.
And Yuta was right here. I'm not your kid. I think that is the way Yuta should be. This isn't like a fucking sensei system. I had to fucking kill people to get in here. I'm in here. Now I'm an equal, and that's it. And it worked for me. And I thought Claudio was great. And of course, he's gigantic. Yeah. It fits him splitting these two up. And disappointingly.
And I kind of, and this is me saying this. Someone that I said, Bryan Danielson is my favorite wrestler of all time. But I kind of lean towards Yuta in this whole argument that started last week. Like, Yuta showed immediately he wanted to join the Blackpool Combat Club. They didn't try to recruit him. They didn't have to beg him to join the team. Like, it lessened the Blackpool Combat Club by having Bryan Danielson basically cater to Daniel Garcia to bring him in.
Yeah, it made Dragon look like a dummy. It made Yuta look like a bitch. There are some holes in the story, like Yuta putting that belt around Garcia. Whatever, we'll let it pass.
It was Dragon that did that. Remember, Yuta just shook his hand.
Dragon was gonna do it, and then Yuta pushes him out the way, and he does it because it was all very fruity. But it worked for me. This part, not that part. This part was great. I hope we see a more vicious. We didn't see it really tonight. I'm not gonna complain too much, but I hope we see a more vicious Dragon going forward.
I agree. We do have a super chat donation here from Roxy. Thank you so much, Roxy. We appreciate it. Saying, got a question here. Do you guys think we're seeing the beginning of Bryan leaving BCC and becoming a heel going for the championship?
That would be perfect. Number one. Number two, Bryan's already a heel. He hasn't stopped coming out of the
yes, to this day, he still comes out the heel title.
I think it's a great little touch. I really hope so, because as fine, solid as Bryan is with BCC, I think we all agree it's a downgrade over where he was right before this, which was BM Hangman.
This is probably the longest tweener run I've ever seen.
It works for me though.
It does.
More dragon, please.
I am here for it. Thank you. Keep those super chats coming and chats in the live chat. We also got Negro Buck who says, I agree, Sid. Brian is my guy, but I fully see where Yuta is coming from. We also got Fort Minor Project who says, really enjoyed this episode of Dynamite this week.
Same.
And the Negro Buck says, it was a good opener. Glad to see Claudio and Yuta get the win. Love the post-match showing the tension between Yuta and Brian. And I'm here for like Yuta, like, or if it's not a multi-man match between BCC and JAS at Full Gear, give me Yuta versus Brian.
Only if Dragon goes over. So you lost.
No, I'm here for Yuta.
There was a line during this fucking match, by the way.
Just to piss y'all off.
There was a line during this match that made me fucking sick. And Excalibur said, Bryan Danielson has never lost more than 2 matches in a row, which is disgusting.
He said in AEW.
Yeah, which is disgusting because that means he's lost 2 matches in a row in AEW, and that's fucking gross. He was so protected. He had draws with Hangman, he had draws with Omega, and now he's lost 2 matches in a row? What?
To Chris Jericho and Jon Moxley.
He shouldn't lose to anybody twice in a row. Okay, who it is? Austin and Rock. He should beat fucking Austin Rock.
I mean, I still stand by. I thought he should have won that Grand Slam.
Who defended Grand Slam?
Moxley for the AEW World
yeah.
Championship.
Oh, yes, of course he should have. Why is this even a conversation? Ugh.
I felt like MJF should take the title from Brian, and Moxley should have been the guy who beat MJF to get back the title to AEW since he's the flag bearer.
Yeah, Brian can go on his inferiority complex. He's never beaten Moxley. He's still not the guy. You still think I'm a B+ player, don't you? No, I'm not.
Yeah. I think that's going to be a part of that has to be a part of the story if we are leading to Brian leaving the BCC. That's part of why is that it's getting in his head. He's never beaten Moxley. He's 0-2 against Moxley.
So much fun. Not enough good writers.
Well, we got some management coming back, though, I guess, to help with the writing. Your favorite writer, Matt Jackson, Kenny Omega, and Nick Jackson. We got a video here showing the Elite, showing some of their biggest moments in AEW being erased as if Thanos snapped them all away. I thought that this was very well done and it got me very excited for the Elite return. But I was very much intrigued after watching this video package, especially with the, we get the video of the first announcement of AEW, the Elite teaming for the first time, Omega winning the AEW World Championship, Young Bucks winning the tag team titles, and then you get the AEW symbol being deleted at the end. So what did you think?
I think that because CM Punk is such a jerk, according to them, sir, not me, if you're watching, and most people, including Twitter users, I think the Elite, particularly the Bucks, have managed to skate by rather unscathed in the situation. Though I will say, if you listen to a lot of these comments from wrestlers, very subtly saying we have leadership in Moxley and Dragon and who's the other one? Jericho. I think they should. And the last time Omega spoke, it didn't go great. I think they should come back knowing their roles, so to speak, that you're kind of EVP in name only. you just
I agree. You gotta earn your leadership now.
Yeah.
Like,
don't come in talking crazy.
Yeah. You gotta earn your spot again because you did not make the company look bad. And this is another reason I'm sad for Kenny Omega. I am gonna be Kenny Omega's attorney because he is a victim in all of this. This man saved the dog. It got bitten and suspended. He got a title stripped from him.
It was an ugly dog, number one. Sorry, it's an ugly dog.
The words and opinions of Jimmy Macram do not necessarily reflect those of True Heel Heat, its viewers, or affiliates.
Can we stop pretending like all dogs are cute? Can we stop pretending like all babies are cute? Can we just stop all of this? There are ugly dogs and there are ugly babies. This is a fact. I'm sorry. Cover that unfortunate child up if you don't mind.
Whoa!
I'm sorry. I've seen some ugly babies in my life.
Cover that unfortunate child. Damn.
What was I say? Oh, right. You're defending Omega. Listen, was Omega in the wrong? No. As much as Nick Jackson? No. As much as Matt Jackson? Of course not. But
As much as CM Punk.
no, CM Punk's probably listen. I know. First of all, kids, if you're watching, if anybody confronts you, you do what Punk did. You swing first. Rest of your fucking surrounded. Let me be completely clear. You don't wait to smoke. You swing first. But I'm talking about legally, he's probably in the wrong. But yeah, I come back. You know your role. You shut the fuck up, and you do your job. You have your fucking matches.
Whoa, Annika, we do not call dogs that. We do not call dogs that.
Oh,
Jesus.
What is that? What do you call that dog?
Kid Get Money says you cannot talk about dogs, Jimmy. Everyone knows that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, well.
Jimmy Macram says only protect and save the cute dogs.
Yes, only protect the cute dogs. You can save everybody, I guess, but you extra protection for the cute dogs.
Kick Your Money says swing first and get dropped like Jordan Poole.
Oh, that shit is so weird.
Oh,
Draymond. Sorry,
Jesus,
fucking your money up, sir. Just
seriously, everybody got paid except for you. But we got to talk about this show. Chris Jericho is not happy following the tag team opener with what happened, and he issues an open challenge for any former Ring of Honor World Champion or any title from Ring of Honor. He said he doesn't care if it's the Women's Champion to come face him. And then we also get Sammy Guevara saying some words about his match with Bryan Danielson. But this segment was the worst production in AEW history. Like, oh my God, the sound was off. You saw the mic coming in, the fucking mic. I was like, yo, what type of fucking child recorded this?
I told you I watched SmackDown last couple of weeks, and while I love the booking by somebody who's fucking competent, it is overproduced. AEW has the opposite problem. It feels like a high school production at times. I'm like, what the fuck is this? You're on national television, sir. Get your shit together. But I did like the visual of it. Like all of them standing there, they're all kind of yelling and screaming and fucking running around like maniacs. It worked for me. I liked it a lot. To me, they're at the best when they're kind of bumbling idiots. I like it.
Bumbling idiots, absolutely. Next, we had another tag team contest. This one for the number one contenderships for the AEW World.
I'm not on coke, by the way. Well, I keep doing my nose.
Yeah.
My mustache hairs keep fucking going up in there.
That's why I shaved mine down.
Yeah, I should do
annoys the hell out of me. We had the number one contendership for the AEW World Tag Team Championships, as it was Swerve and Our Glory, the former champions, versus another set of former champions, the current IWGP, ROH, and AAA World Tag Team Champions, FTR. We had a bunch of people at ringside or at in the crowd. You had the Gun Club dressed as FTR with paper championship belts. Then we had the Acclaim. They came out and they sat on the stage to watch the match after scissoring each other's chairs. What we got was a match that it seemed kind of clunky at the start, but man, oh man, this turned up. Like it went into the next gear later on. Keith Lee is amazing, by the way. I would say Keith Lee is arguably the MVP of this match because this one spot where he leapfrogged both members of FTR, dropped down, and then did the running cross body. That was a great move. Some nice little double team from Swerve and Our Glory with an electric chair into a power bomb. We even got some nice double team from FTR, as per usual from FTR, but impressive as hell, where they tried to do the powerplex on fucking Keith Lee. It took him a while to do the superplex part. Then he does the superplex part, and Keith Lee tries to turn over on his back before the splash. So it just looked so chaotic, but so much fun.
Right?
I love that spot. That spot was so crazy for me. Back up, you get Hardwood. He somehow they do complete the powerplex, get a 2 count. Then you get a roll up out of the corner, which gives Hardwood a 2. Then Swerve tries to hold on to Dax, but Keith Lee blasts Swerve instead. Hardwood gets the roll up for a 2 count, and then he backs up. The referee's distracted with Keith Lee, and Swerve low blows Dax on the floor. We got FTR, we got Cash Wheeler, who's being held on to by the Gun Club, and inside the ring, Keith Lee hits the Big Bang Catastrophe on Dax Hardwood to give Swerve and Our Glory the win, and they are now the number one contenders for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. After the match, the Gun Club attacks FTR in the ring until the Acclaimed come down and make the save, running the Gun Club off while Swerve in Our Glory, especially Swerve, is smiling. I swear, Swerve has the best facial expressions in this damn company. There was one spot where he pulled Dax off the apron and just smiled like that, and then this shot of him smiling. He just comes off like the biggest heel. But I enjoyed the hell out of this match. Like I said, first 5 minutes or so, it felt kind of clunky. Felt like they were trying to get on the same page. But I would say the last 10 minutes of this was a 15-minute match, really turned up, went into the next gear. A big win for Swerve in Our Glory. And only the second time this year FTR has lost in a 2-on-2 tag team match. What did you think?
That's impressive. I must say, I enjoyed, usually I complain about people being protected too much, but you got to protect FTR. I thought they did a great job doing it. Almost overkill. Dax got a low blow, and his partner got fucking trapped. That shit was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, Keith Lee was great. That spot where it almost fucked up twice, the superplex and then the splash. It still worked because it just looked like Keith Lee's a lot to handle.
But both of the spots, the powerplex spot and the leapfrog, it didn't look like he was going to complete any of that. Like, but he was able to do it. It was great.
Really, whatever diet he was on, he got off it. You're still moving though, so hey, fuck it.
And he took the big rig.
He did.
He was taking all the big spots in this matchup. Like, that's what I said. Like, I got to give Keith Lee the MVP of this match because he was impressive as hell. And I like the decision of the Swerve in Our Glory winning here. Yes, FTR do deserve to get a shot at the titles, and FTR versus the Acclaim would have been great. And like I said last week, I would have preferred, honestly, this was one of the times that I wish AEW didn't do 101 triple threat tags this year, because this felt like the time to do a non-finish and do the triple threat tag. But Swerve in Our Glory, I feel like they just want to complete the story with the Acclaim, but it's more about the Acclaim keeping the titles because they're so over.
Yes, and by the way, FTR got a really big pop when it came out.
Yes,
when the Acclaim came out,
they got huge, blew the roof off, and like some of the fans were sad that he didn't rap.
Right? It felt very. I only have old man references. It feels very, very like mid '99. Rock comes out, he gets a huge pop. Then here comes Austin. It's like, what the fuck was that? Just compared the Acclaim to Stone Cold. That's a fucking shame. Yeah, this is great. This is great. I'm here for it. I gotta be honest, I'm very concerned about splitting up Keith Lee and Swerve. I was really excited about it before. Now that I've seen what happened to Hobbs and Starks, I think maybe I'll pass on that. Just have them be a tag team. Fuck it.
Fair. It's fair. But at the very least, Swerve as a heel is getting a bigger push than anybody. I would say they're the best like mixed match tag team in AEW since Hangman and Omega.
Ooh. You know what? Yes. See. Agreed.
A couple of comments we got here. Keep those comments coming. And of course, super chat donations. Make sure that we will highlight your comment. We got Kid Get Money who says amateur hour for the production team. Yeah, that segment was bad. Like, I even had to tweet it out. I was like, this is really bad. He also says, I like the Swerve low blow finish. Yeah, I like the fact that this is like Omega and Paige, they were like a part of a group and they kind of just mismatched together. This is really feels like we have an authentic heel and a babyface who are teaming with each other. And it's like Keith Lee knows he's an asshole, but he's like trying to ignore it.
It does work. It shouldn't work, but it does.
Negro Buck saying this was probably my favorite match of the night. Didn't expect it, but glad Swerve in Our Glory won. Now we get a rubber match between them and the Acclaim. I could see a multi-man match in the future. That's what the post-match kind of felt like. It felt like yes, Swerve in Our Glory won, but this is really about all four teams, not just that one team.
Boy, Ass Boys are really fucking. What's their real names? Gun Club.
Gun Club.
They stand out in that group. I'll say that much.
They certainly do. We got Negro Buck who also says Swerve was great being a heel as usual. We also got ALW says the MVP of this match was the same guy Vince sent back down to NXT to get more seasoning. Fuck out of here, stupid ass Vince. Damn, okay.
I was watching a lot of fucking SmackDown. I was like, this is all really solid, but none of this is great. Do we just love this because Triple H is not an idiot?
Yes, that's pretty much it. It's because Triple H likes the wrestling and he cares about it being good. That's the only difference between Vince and Triple H is putting pretty much he's kept the same format, really.
Right.
When you look at Raw and SmackDown before Triple H, no, more SmackDown before Triple H and after Triple H, it's still the same format. He's only really switched up the format a little bit on Raw, where Raw has become a little bit more of the format of AEW. A lot of time on the wrestling, little angle backstage segment here and there, but it's more about the wrestling.
I like it. It's very conservative. It's like, why do you have to book a fucking 3-hour show? You can just take a 2-hour show and make the wrestling longer. Ta-da!
Ta-da! Look, I'm amazing, guys. Next, we went backstage at AEW Dynamite, where Renee was backstage with Saraya. They were gonna have a little reunion here, but then Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, interrupts. Renee breaks it up and says if they want to talk, they can do it as they are supposed to. This sets up Renee having a sit-down interview with the two women next week on the show.
I'm going to put my Saraya thoughts to the side for a minute here. And I'm going to say this. I love what they did with Renee. So I'm not sure it's great to have the WWE person come in and be the only competent interviewer you have all of a sudden who knows how to control these goofy motherfuckers. But whatever. Besides that visual, this was great. However, like most things Tony Khan does, he does something good and then goes back to his coke. Here's how this is supposed to work. That was a great first part, but she's there to interview Saraya. Once Britt leaves, we should have the interview with Saraya. What are we talking about?
I agree with that. He's like, I only got 30 seconds. I got to get this in. Get all that shit in.
Women before the first hour. You're welcome.
You wanted it. You got it. Next, we had what is usually the highlight of the show to us, MJF talking. You got Renee. She's on stage. Once Renee was on stage for this, I was like, okay, this might be really good because this is Moxley's wife interviewing MJF. And I think that's exactly why MJF did the impersonation here. But MJF comes out and Renee asks, what happens if MJF faces Moxley at Full Gear despite his championship match later tonight, sending MJF into a rather funny and impressive Moxley impersonation, complete with aggressive walking and discussion of breaking bones. MJF talks about how Moxley is an M-word, he's mid, and with all due respect, and Renee cuts him off and says, Max, you can't just say with all due respect and then say something mean. And MJF responds, Renee, with all due respect, shut your mouth. MJF is going to wrestle the main event of Full Gear clean. Mostly clean. I am MJF after all. He will, however, promise not to use the Dynamite Diamond Ring because of what William Regal say that William Regal said he only used his brass knucks because he wanted to. Well, he's not going to use the Dynamite Diamond Ring at Full Gear. He isn't fighting Regal. He isn't fighting Moxley, but rather everyone who says he couldn't do it at Full Gear, and he will become the AEW champion of the world. This brings out Stokely Hathaway, but immediately MJF smacks the microphone away from Stokely. MJF doesn't want the firm's help at Full Gear, so stay away or get fired. MJF then turns around and gives his catchphrase. He's MJF, and he's better than you, and you know it. What did you think here as we got further progression of the MJF babyface turn ? Even though I think Sean Ross Sapp, I have to give him credit. I think we're all being honey-dicked. We're all being honey-dicked by MJF. Honey-dicked is when it's basically a term that women use for a man that says everything they want to hear to basically get what they want. And I think that's what MJF is doing here. He's saying all the things that the fans want to hear. He's even doing things that the fans want him to do, as we'll get into later in the night. But I don't believe it. I don't buy it. What about you?
Told you all that last week. This is not happening. MJF's not a dummy. In fact, I think outside maybe Punk, he's the most protective of his character in AEW. This was, by the way, this fucking thing was great.
Yeah.
I can't even say where it ranks on MJF's performances to me. There's so many of them.
Well, solo promos, this is one of the better ones.
Yeah.
Because when you think about MJF great promos, it's usually with someone else.
Yes. I gotta be honest. First half of this for me was so different than the usual MJF. It felt very like you ever seen him on like YouTube or talking interviews and stuff. It felt like that. It felt very early Rock to me. It was just like it's over the top. There's performances. There's jokes. It's Rock and Michael Cole. Let's go. This is hilarious. And then he went to Ric Flair mode, and it was all great. And I loved every bit of it. And the Stokely part is intriguing. Do I buy it? Not even a little bit. Even he went, by the way, I won't spoil it because we'll get there. He went so far to make me believe it at the end. I still didn't believe it. No, I don't believe you. No.
That's how I felt watching that ending. I was like, I still don't buy it, bro. Still don't buy it. Great line here, though. Negro Bug saying, bro, one, I saw Renee, I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be good.
Right?
Yes. And her facial expressions to MJF, especially when he did the walk, were great. She is so great at those little things. At those little things like that.
We can't forget he's gonna gargle piss and drink blood. I was like, oh my god, that is so perfect. Including that stupid walkie does.
With all due respect, shut your mouth.
The
best. We got Annika says this is where Renee shines. Sorry,
don't be blasphemous. Don't be blasphemous. Shivani's great at that. Though, by the way, I never thought. I think. Listen, I love Tony. I love Tony Schiavone more than I like Excalibur. I'll tell you that much. However, if we're removing somebody from an announce table, which we should, it should be Schiavone. He adds nothing to the announce team, even a little bit.
And Excalibur and Taz are so good as a duo.
If
you ever watch Dark, you will know that they're so good as a duo. And then adding William Regal for the Blackpool.
Always fun.
Oh, I forgot to mention Regal in the opener where he said he wanted Excalibur to melt in him. Not even melt. The snack crack will pop in my mouth. He said, "I want you to melt in me." Ooh.
What the fuck? I don't know who the fuck has Twitter who showed William Regal that shit. But I regret it because he's just gone over the top.
He's like, I am with it. I'm here for it. I'm an eccentric Englishman. Yeah.
And you know he's done some. He's had a crazy life. You know he's been all over the place.
Yes.
All types of shit.
He had some words about MJF too on his podcast. Yeah.
Jesus.
Hey, you want to hear more about that True Hill Heat 199 this Saturday? We got to talk about the rest of the show. We get a video package hyping up Rampage as it's going to be Matt Taven making his AEW in-ring debut against Wardlow for the TNT Championship. Basically, the Kingdom accepting the challenge Wardlow made last week, and Wardlow says that he's going to take care of Taven, while Taven says he's the most decorated ROH performer of all time, and he's going to take the TNT crown. Any thoughts?
No. Please.
Well, since we're not able to talk about Rampage usually on this show, we should note, though, Willow Nightingale finally got signed.
That was great, right? She's so good as a babyface. She's adorable. By the way, I heard Rampage was awful this week. I only watched one segment, and that was Nyla.
It was great. Jade. Oh, Jade.
I want this thing to go on forever. This is fantastic.
I do. I'm here for it. I was like, we better get. They didn't hype it. They didn't promote anything for Nyla and Jade, but we better get some progression from Nyla and Jade. That's the match for Full Gear. I've already put it in the Full Gear matches. Please. Oh man, that was so great. But let's talk about the next match on the show, as it was some more Blackpool Combat Club versus Jericho Appreciation Society, as Sammy Guevara with Ty Mello. Of course, I had to take a picture of them kissing, versus the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. And what we got was a nice little styles clash here, as Bryan Danielson, he's the technical expertise, hard-hitting, strong style, but Sammy Guevara, he has more of the athletic agility style, high-flying ability in the ring. Danielson grounds Guevara with the surfboard. Guevara comes back. He goes aerial, hits his double springboard cutter, and then he follows up with one of the highest freaking Isai moonsaults I've seen in quite. I was like, yo, Bryan gotta wait a day for this dude to come down. He got air on that shit. We come back from break, and Danielson is kicking the hell out of Guevara. Danielson sends him to the floor, then takes it back inside with a missile drop kick. Guevara is able to flip out of a belly-to-belly suplex, but he misses a standing moonsault, but then eventually he goes for a standing shooting star press, but Danielson catches him into the label lock. Guevara makes it to the ropes, so Danielson goes up top, only to get pulled down with a super Spanish fly. Danielson sold the hell out of this. I thought for a minute, I thought his neck had a problem because he sold the hell out of it. Danielson comes back though. He gets a shot of his own. Then he hits the Psycho knee, but he says that's not enough. He's going to kick his fucking head in. He gets the stomps to the head, which Sammy sold like, God damn, I feel like getting hit in the face by Eddie Kingston a lot. And then Danielson transitions into the triangle choke with the elbows to the head for the referee stoppage win. I really enjoyed this matchup. I thought that this was a great styles clash between these two guys, and Danielson getting the win is all that matters. Get him back on the winning ways as we further progress this Blackpool Combat Club story. But on this night, the BCC is 2-0. What did you think?
I thought the match was pretty good. I got to be honest. I'd rather swap this out for Dragon versus one of 2.0. You pick one of them, because I felt like with Dragon's new attitude, he should kind of just wash whoever the fuck's in front of him. And we want to protect Sammy for whatever reason. It's fine. I enjoyed it.
Good stuff. Yeah, I just enjoyed this a lot. Especially Bryan Danielson getting the win. I'm always here for that. Backstage we go. We get Renee is with Ray Phoenix, and they're
working her to death. Jesus.
Yo, she was putting in that work. But I like that this was a different way of hyping up the main event than what we've seen the last couple of weeks. Because we had this interview, and we had an interview later that was more about asking the person about Penta versus Jon Moxley on tonight. Ray says that he promises Penta will become the new champion, and if that's the case, Alice Abrahantes says Phoenix should become the next All-Atlantic champion. This leads to Christian Cage and Luchasaurus coming in, with the latter saying that he deserves the next title shot, and then Orange Cassidy comes in with so much non-enthusiasm. It was amazing. He says, "You guys talking about me? You guys want this? Taking the title out the bag?" He's like, "Let's do it next week." That's it. That's all he needed to say. And once again, I watched Dynamite with G-Loke, and he said that was one of the best promos he's ever seen in his life. What did you think, Jimmy?
Not that. What happened to Jungle Boy? What happened to Luchasaurus do to Jungle Boy?
Oh, he took him out.
Yeah,
took him out in the match. In that match. The match they had on the.
I remember the match. It was a great match. I don't remember
stuff.
what happened. Like, why is he not here? Why is he not around? Why is he not attacking anybody?
He took him out after the match.
With what?
You
don't remember either. Absolutely.
I think it was a choke slam.
Is it?
Why do you want more? What do you want?
I want to jump. Is Jungle Boy over it?
No, he's out injured. He's injured. He's storyline injured.
With a choke slam.
Yes. What else do you want?
I want an explanation why our biggest stars is not attempting to get revenge on the man who's embarrassed him the other way and turned on him and fucked him over.
Because he's storyline injured.
Lost the match and you're over. Yeah, but with a choke slam. So he's brittle? Did he get choke slam on the stage before and came back to fight on Dynamite?
Cumulative. It's a cumulative damage.
Absolutely, yes.
Adds up.
That's what it is. Yeah.
It adds up. Up.
What you call is not lazy. Dummy's not lazy. He's just not very what do you call that? When you cross your T's and you dot your I's. He's not very what the fuck that is. Detail oriented.
Diligent.
Thank you, sir. That's a great word. He's not very diligent at all. Yeah, this was fine. I love St. Christian. He was great. Orange Cassidy was what he was, and he was good. I'm here for it. I'm here for this match. It's a nice little mix of everybody involved. It's so weird. Pretty
much. Yes, and I do like the Orange Cassidy basically accepting multiple challenges to do 3-ways, but the point of doing 3-ways is he has to wrestle less.
I don't hate that theory. It does open you up to losing it easier.
It is also true. This wasn't fully thought out, but in his mind, it makes sense. But let's get into the women's match on this card. We got women's segment in the first hour, but we're not gonna get a match. That's asking for too much. But next we got Riho making her return to AEW Dynamite, the first ever AEW Women's World Champion, versus the most popular woman in AEW, Jamie Hayter, who got a great response from the fans. And man, this, like I said, there was a couple of matches on this show that turned out great, that started slow. This was a match I loved from the start.
Really?
Fast start with Riho hitting the dive to the outside on Jamie Hayter, who sells that better than anyone. Jamie grabs her up and hits the most unique snap suplexes I've ever seen, where she does the snap suplex and then immediately drops down on the person to get a cover afterwards. It was great. She did 2 of those. Riho snaps off a middle rope Hurricane Rana for a near fall. She then comes off the ropes with a crossbody, and Jamie Hayter catches her and reverses it into a vertical drop brainbuster. Riho hits a nice little reversal from a choke bomb into a code breaker for a 2 count here. We got a couple of really good near falls towards the end here, but Jamie Hayter puts her away finally with the ripcord lariat in just under 11 minutes here. This was the type of win that we definitely needed Jamie Hayter to get. Love her getting the win here in a strong matchup that got time on Dynamite. And then after the match, Toni Storm came out with the AEW Interim Women's World Championship, and it seemed to indicate that we're getting Hayter versus Storm for the title. Give me that at Full Gear. I am here for that all day and twice on Sunday.
This match is good. Not as good as the one they had before this, which is great. But it was good. Toni Storm versus Jamie Hayter. As much as I want to see Jamie Hayter's pay-per-view. I'm not here for her losing to fucking Toni Storm.
What's your problem with Toni Storm?
The personality of a fucking dishwasher. Like
The words and opinions of Jimmy Macram do not necessarily reflect those of True Heel Heat, its viewers, or affiliates.
You think so? You think she's good?
I think she's good.
Like, as great as she looks, and she looks great, and she has a great look about her, and she's got cool glasses and a nice outfit. It's just nothing behind those fucking eyes. Oh, what a bore. You should not be that hot and boring. Good God.
Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry. But maybe put the bet on Hayter and we can move on to a fucking title feud with Britt. I can see the personality out of Britt. She's jealous and bitter and angry.
I can see that.
Please.
I can see that. I think Britt's going to be busy with Saraya at Full Gear, though. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Kid Get Money agrees with you. He says Toni Storm is not that good. I agree with you.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus, I didn't say that. She's fine. She's there. She's taking shots at Thunder Rosa.
Because that seems to be the thing, the show personality.
Right.
We go backstage, Jimmy, and we got Renee Paquette, and she's here for an interview with Eddie Kingston. Comes in. Eddie Kingston he says he's feeling great. He's having a pass and controlling his temper. He's like, well, let's talk about something else then. And Renee brings up his 2 friends, Penta, going up against Jon Moxley tonight. And he says that he's got Johnny in this matchup, which I thought was cool. And I immediately thought, I was like, someone's going to interrupt. And they didn't. I was like, oh, okay. This was subtle, where it sets up that now that Penta's lost to Moxley, either him or probably more suitable Pac will be upset that Kingston picked Moxley over Penta.
Oh, I hadn't even considered that.
Because we did get the segment. We got also on Rampage, we got a segment where they gave him an intervention. It was the Lucha, and we got acknowledgement. We got acknowledgement from what you wanted. I think you said this a couple of weeks back, where you was like, I want them to acknowledge the old relationship between Kingston and the Lucha Bros. And they did that with the intervention set up by Ortiz. He brought the Lucha Bros, and everybody was like, you got to control your temper to Eddie. And then Pac came in. It's like, Eddie, control yourself. Sloppy fool, and then just walked off and pissed off Eddie.
That does sound weird. I must say, is it just me, or they've done a great job on this episode of building up the main event, more so than they built up Punk versus Moxley when that happened on TV. We built up.
We got a video package that night. We did.
Yeah, here we had like 4 different people talk about it: MJF, Ray Phoenix, Eddie Kingston, and somebody else. Like it was like a properly booked show. Who would have thought? Thank you, Triple H.
Always thank Triple H, ladies and gentlemen, when you get good booking on AEW because of Triple H. Next, we got the lineups for Rampage and next week's Dynamite. We got hype for next week's Dynamite. It's going to be Darby Allin versus Jay Lethal, and we get a vignette from Darby Allin where he actually explains why Sting is gone. He says that Sting hasn't been here for a while because Darby told him that he wasn't happy where he was and that he wanted to prove himself by himself. So that's why Sting has been away. We then see a bunch of Darby Allin stunts, and he promises that whatever the person that Lethal says his old friend told him is his weakness, he already knows his weakness is that it's himself. Then we hear from Jay Lethal and Sanjay Dutt, who tell Darby Allin to be careful what he wishes for because he just might get it next week.
I don't think I'm over it. I tried to come up with move on. I thought we moved on from this. I thought Lethal was leaving, but apparently not. Sanjay Dutt is so over the top. They don't really fit together at all.
No.
Like Sanjay Dutt feels like he belongs with Sammy and them. Like it's just so over the top. I don't know who the friend is. I'm mildly curious. I
am kind of curious because who has been connected with Darby? Unless it's like someone from his.
It's Cody. Not Cody. Don't get your hopes up, people. I'm joking.
Don't listen to him.
By the way, though, I did see an interview of Darby where he said he wanted a break or something, but he can't get it. And now people are complaining because he just felt like he needed freshening up. Yeah. But he's popular, so he's got to be on TV, and he's kind of felt listless recently. I hope it works out. I give him a break, quite frankly, and they bring him back with some type of purpose. He wants a belt, or he wants to fuck somebody up, or something, because he's felt like he's done nothing for months at this point.
Yeah, he really, when you think about it, I'm trying to think about it. He really hasn't had an authentic just him feud since MJF last year at Full Gear.
Wow, it's been a while. I was about to say
because he had the singles match with Kyle O'Reilly at Double or Nothing, but that was more a part of the Red Dragon versus Sting and Darby feud, and
it was so worthless. It's so not a match that needs to be there. It's a good match because, of course, I think outside of maybe Brandy, fucking Darby suffered the most from this Cody going to fucking WWE.
That's saying a lot. Ladies and gentlemen. Next was the main event. So keep those comments coming. Give us your final thoughts on AEW Dynamite, as well as your match of the night, MVP, LVP, out of 10. What did you give the show? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Do want to highlight a couple of comments before we talk about the main event here. Roxy saying, damn, Jimmy, at your previous rant. We also got Annika who says Tony's NXT thing was more of a banger, but she can't do anything about that. I like her theme song. I don't think that's the
it's got more star power than fucking she does. Jesus fucking Christ. Show some personality, lady. Look at me.
Annika says, I want to know the first time Moxley introduced Renee to Eddie. I did like Eddie calling her sis. It did fit. I was like, that's such a New York thing. I do that all the time with my friend's girl. I do that all. Sis, what up, sis?
And Renee seems very polite, but she definitely would rather not deal with Eddie if she didn't have to.
Well, speaking of Renee, let's talk about her husband, who is in the main event. Jon Moxley defending the AEW World Championship against Penta El Zero Miedo with Alex Abrahantes. We got nice little reactions for both guys. They stare each other down to start, and then they start slugging it out. Penta busts out the Zero Miedo and gets a double middle finger in exchange from Moxley. Moxley is sent to the outside and taken down with a dive from Penta as we head to our early break. Back with Penta hitting a sling blade, but then he gets caught with a jumping cutter. They fight on the apron where Penta gives him a loud ass enziguri. He then goes for a Mexican destroyer on the steel steps, but Moxley catches him. It's a DDT on the steel steps Instead, then back in the ring, Moxley hits a power driver for a 2 count. He then puts on a crossface. Penta eventually gets out of that. He gets the arm snap, and then eventually he goes for the fear factor and drops Moxley directly on his fucking head. And got one of the closest near falls. Like Moxley kicked out at like 3.999 or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Eventually, Penta goes for a springboard off the ropes, but Moxley catches him into a paradigm shift, gets him right back up into a second paradigm shift, Death Rider style, for the win. Moxley retains the AEW World Championship just over 12 minutes. Post-match, the Firm comes out and beats down Moxley. Stokely Hathaway comes out very happy with his group's work. Then we see backstage, we got Alex Marvez, who says that the Blackpool Combat Club has been locked in their locker room. Thank you! Because that didn't explain all the other time Blackpool Combat Club didn't help each other, but thank you for that. And then MJF comes up on the stage. He's very conflicted. He knows what he said earlier, but he does want Moxley to be healthy, but he doesn't care about him that much. He comes out eventually, runs down to the ring. He pushes the Firm back off of Moxley. He gets in Stokely Hathaway's face and says, "You're fired." He then looks back at Moxley and says why he's just so upset that he just had to make the save for him. And then he turns around and Ethan Page delivers a big boot right to the face of MJF. Ethan Page then delivers the All Eagles Edge, and then after that, they throw MJF outside the ring, and W. Morrissey delivers a chokeslam through the timekeeper's table to lay out MJF as the Firm stands tall to end AEW Dynamite. I absolutely love this post match. If this is all a ploy, because this is going to some extra lengths to employ. This man got chokeslammed through the table, took the All Eagles Edge. Like, if this is all a ploy, MJF, I hand it to you, because this is a good ploy to do, because you went the full length with it. But if this is like the MJF babyface turn, I think it's too early. So this is kind of a wait and see type of post match. But the match itself with Moxley and Penta, I enjoyed that. I felt like this Penta style fit in best with Moxley than it does with a lot of other people. So I enjoyed that match.
I never remembered. I gotta be honest. It's a match like that hard for me to get into. It's a title match for Penta. Okay, yeah, sure. Whatever you say. Before the NJ match was already announced. Okay, yeah. All right. I'll pretend. I'll sit here waiting for 10 minutes. I'll be ramble through this nonsense. I was concerned when he got dropped on his head, because it didn't hurt his neck. It was literally just on the top of his head, like bop. It was a great power drive. It looked great, and then he took a while to kick out. That was great. The match was good. As for the post match, first of all, I like it in and of itself, no matter what happens. Like, I love the way it looked. I like the way it made Ethan Page look. He looked like a star, quite frankly. The Triple H to Austin and Rock, if you would. And it worked for me. However, this has got to be a swerve. If it's not a swerve, it is poorly done. It's too early for MJF, number one, and it detracts from their match, MJF and Moxley. If it is a swerve, it's great, because, like you said, MJF going the extra mile. Like, when he got hit with the boot, I'm like, this is definitely still a swerve. We're moving on. Then he got hit with the Eagle's Edge, and I went, ugh, okay. Then he got put to the table. I went, oh. No, I'm sticking with my pick. Sticking with my pick. I feel like MJF would be willing to do this.
Yeah.
All for the sake of bringing Moxley's walls down, so to speak. However, we do need to hear why Stokely did what he did next week. Swerve or not, we need to hear why he decided to turn on MJF and do whatever the fuck he wants. Why are we fucking the money up? It makes no sense.
Yeah. If he's paying you to just be there whenever he feels like it, then yeah, he's got to be like, I was sick of him. It can be something simple, like I was sick of him talking to me like that.
Yes.
Like, yeah, it doesn't have to.
Who are you talking to?
Yeah. It doesn't even have to be that difficult to understand. It just needs to be simple like that. It just needs to be like, I didn't appreciate him talking down to me. We're supposed to be friends, and literally we've seen him talk down to Stokely more times than we've seen them on good terms.
Yes, that's why it's so out of place, and why I think it's a swerve. It's just like
Yeah.
we were fucking. He's the only friend I have here, but he's a cunt who should know his place. What? All right.
Like what? And then Stokely just
I'm
said,
serious. I'm not gonna sit back and take this fucking shit.
It's so fucking cringeworthy.
"Got it again, ladies and gentlemen." Let me highlight a couple of your comments here. We got ALW saying, "Will Penta ever be AEW champ?"
No.
No.
What should he be?
No. I can see him being a singles champ in AEW. I can't
Say
see him
so,
being
sure.
the AEW World Champion, though.
No. Yeah. I heard his match was really good where he ended up bloody and lost his mask and something. That was great. The
Yeah.
visual was great at least. But
Yeah.
AEW
Looked
champion?
awesome. Looked awesome. We also got DJ Duke with a good point saying Miro lost all momentum, and Roxy adding Lana be talking shit in interviews about Miro's booking.
As she actually she probably shouldn't. That'll work out great for Brian Cage. But yeah, Miro's a little more protected than Brian Cage is. I'm sure he'll be fine. However, and Miro's got a place he can land, quite frankly. Please. I heard he was doing something. Like he was doing a show.
Yeah, he's doing a show. He has a show name. Yeah, that's why I don't think I think that people just took one part of what Lana said, because I actually watched the interview and heard what she said, and they took one part of it and not the full sentence. They like broke it off. Like Tony Khan has his favorites. That's all they took, but it was a full sentence. She said Tony Khan has his favorites, Triple H had his favorites, Vince has his favorites. That's what any booker would do. That was the complete sentence that she did, but they took that one part because they knew that would get the attention.
Gotcha. Maybe she's about to come in. I wouldn't be mad at that.
I wouldn't be mad at that either. It'd be the payoff. We finally see Columbo's wife. Negro Buck says, love the touch of BCC being locked in the locker room, connected to segments from earlier in the night. Yes, it was great because they did say they were going to have a meeting when Brian's match was done. So that's why they were in the locker room.
I didn't piece that together.
Yo, that was some of the best connecting of stuff that AEW has done in a while.
Ever. Yes. Good job. That's great.
Yeah.
I didn't even consider that. All these dummies in one room at the same time. That's fucking brilliant, actually. This is definitely one of the better book shows they've ever had, I thought.
Yes.
One through line, like a real company. A real episode.
Well, let's put our thumbs in the middle for this episode of AEW Dynamite for the October 26, 2022 edition of AEW Dynamite in 3, 2, 1. Thumbs up across the board from me and Jimmy. What did you give the show out of 10, Jimmy?
8.
You know what? We're on the same page today. 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 show. Just really enjoyable wrestling and some very competent booking, I must say. For the standard that Tony Khan has said, this is one of the most competent shows he's booked as far as connecting things.
Indeed.
And everyone,
see what happens when Triple H keeps going. Keep doing your thing, sir. You're making dummy competent. Keep doing your thing, H.
I love how you're just gonna keep giving H. What was your match of the night, Jimmy?
That's difficult. So to be honest, I didn't love any of them. I really liked all of them. I didn't love any of them. I might go with the opener, actually. Yeah, I'm going to go with the opener.
Man, it's tough. I want to go cold, but I do that too much.
6. God damn, sir.
I know. That's just ridiculous. I want to go with Swerve and Our Glory versus FTR just because of that Powerplex spot. But I'm going to go with Riho and Jamie Hayter. I really enjoyed that. I just enjoy Jamie just brutalizing someone so much smaller than her. And then just Riho, just how she sells Rio's offense. It was great.
Yes, I must say, Rio's a lot more trusting than I am. Like, I'm not going to get in there with somebody who can move me against my will. I'm going to pass. It's supposed to be a team here. She can just pick you up and toss me around. I'm going to pass.
LVP for the show, Jimmy.
This feels difficult. Shit. I'm going to go with, I want to be rude. No disrespect.
With all due respect.
I'm going to go with either Tony Storm, for just standing there like an adult, or Sammy. He's lost so much. since he's been. I'm going Sammy. Oh, he's just there now.
I feel bad. I go co-LVPs for
What did Tay
Sammy.
do?
I don't know. I go with Sammy and I go with the Gun Club because they stood out like a sore thumb among all those other great and over tag teams. That's just how I feel. That's just how I feel. Negro Buck says LVP Stokely because he got fired, even if this is a swerve. He stood tall at the end of the night, so even if he got fired, he looked good. If you could do that to your boss after you got fired, you would do it too.
I still have man strength, sir. Jay can't just do whatever she wants to me. I would let her, though.
One Mike Nation says, Jimmy, I'm sure Jade can throw you around, so you may want to change that stance.
I still have man strength. I'll be all right. So I'd let her do whatever she wanted to be. Well, to my front, I let her do whatever she wanted.
Roxy says, every time someone says with no disrespect, it means
it does.
Accurate. Very accurate. And MVP for this show, Jimmy.
You know it's MJF. I'm sorry.
Same week. Same MVP.
So clean.
It's MJF. It's MJF, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, MJF. Should I go MJF?
Come on, stop it. Who else is even in the conversation? Knock it off.
I was gonna go with Swerve because I loved him.
Swerve was great. Sorry,
I loved him. I loved it, and I loved Keith Lee. I'm going with Swerve in Our Glory. I can't keep giving MJF the MVP.
This is how Michael Jordan only has 6
yep,
MVPs.
That's what I'm treating him like Jordan. You don't get MVPs every week, sir. Jimmy, that brings us to a close for this edition of AEW Ramble. And Helen Weinstein says, I still have man strength. Fucking got it.
A t-shirt.
Yes, that's a future t-shirt, ladies and gentlemen. Let the people know where they can find you, Jimmy.
At Jimmy Macram on Twitter and Instagram and YouTube. Yeah. That's it.
There you go. There you have it. Find me on the Twitter machine at TrueHillSP3. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at True Hill Heat. Follow the gang. Also, $3 a month, patreon.com/True Hill Heat. Exclusive content, the True Hill Heat Prediction Championship, plus much, much more. We're going to start giveaways as well next year. So you might be the best time to become a Patreon backer. Also, twitch.tv/True Hill Heat Wrestling. You got Dark Power coming up tomorrow. ProWrestlingTees.com/True Heels to get your True Hill Heat merchandise. And you can join us tonight here on the YouTube channel. There won't be anything on True Hill Heat Sports. We'll be back on Sunday with the NFL watch-alongs. So tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Blunt Impact number 697 with the... What are you laughing?
Alan Angels in that big of a spot.
Trey Miguel versus Alan Angels in the X Division title tournament. You'll have Chris G and Ness to watch along with you. And then join us here live on Saturday, 11:05 a.m. Eastern Time, True Hill Heat 199 with special guest Seth E. Nyangi of Wrestle Talk. He's going to be
African? Nyangi sounds African.
Yeah, he's African.
Well, he looks like somebody who tries to sell me fucking fake watches in Times Square.
The words and opinions of Jimmy Macram do not necessarily reflect those of True Hill Heat, its viewers, or affiliates.
I'm joking. You're clean, brother.
The best thing I do is have my finger on the trigger when I show a picture of our guest.
You look clean, brother. I'm just joking.
Join us live on Saturday, 11:05 a.m. Eastern Time for Jimmy Macram. It is me, your True Phenom, SP3. This has been AEWramble number 65. With all due respect, we are talking off.